Ito ang Presidential Broadcast Service. Radyo Publiko ng Bagong Pilipinas para sa Bagong Pilipino. Naghahatid ng mahahalagang balita at impormasyon na uugnay ng pamahalaan sa sambayanan. Tulay sa himpapawid ng serbisyo publiko. Radyo Pilipinas. Radyo Publiko. Ang boses ng Pangulo sa Iloilo. Radyo Pilipinas. 585 AM. Usapang Agrikultura. Ang inyong source of daily agri-news. Talakayang siksik sa kaalaman. Atin ay impormasyon mula sa pamahalaan. Pagpapayaman sa ating mga likas na yaman para mas mapaunlad pa ang isa sa mga paunahing kabuhayan sa ating bayan. Usapang Agrikultura. Dito lang sa Radyo Pilipinas.
Maayong aga sa mga tagpalamati sa ating mga tumalanaw over Facebook Live and our full frequency sa ating radio station. Good morning and sa ating mga farmers, sa ating mga fisher folk, sa ating natin mga agricultural technician ng aton, municipal agriculturists, subumban sa ating mga provincial agriculturists and city agriculturists, sa ating regional executive directors and Department of Agriculture Western Visayas, Director Dennis Arvia and ang ating buka, the Regional Technical Director for Research and Regulation, Director Sir Lee Coelho, and ang ating OIC Director for Operation and Extension, Senior Director Maria Teresa Solis. Maayong aga sa ating tanan. And yun kami yung nato na matatapos ng DA Western Visayas sa ating mga attached agencies na iba't ibang po sa sektor sa agrikultura, sa kamayan na aga sa ating tanan. Subukan lang kami bagong episode. Isa na naman ka information na ating palapit sa ating mga tagpalamati sa ating mga stakeholders, especially sa ating mga kautulan na nagtutok sa mga kasapatan sa ating livestock industry, maging mapins lang maging episode is because may paupod natin ang next in rank veterinary quarantine officer sa Bureau of Animal Industry, si Dr. John Roel C. Delario. Subumang maupod natin ang veterinary quarantine officer sa Veterinary Quarantine Station 6, si Dr. Pearl Joy D. Terawa. Maayong aga sa ating tanong. Magkanamiyo sa ating mga listeners.
Yes, sir. Good morning. Sir, good morning. And of course, on behalf of Dr. Nilo Pilingayan, ating Regional Veterinary Quarantine Officer under Bureau of Animal Industry, Veterinary Quarantine Region 6. I am once again Dr. John Roel Hilario, the next in rank in Region 6. And yeah, tama kong tanan sa maayong aga. We are very glad to be here. We are very glad for this opportunity to present our regulations for the evening of our farmers who are for shipping their commodities.
Good morning. Thank you, Sir John. Thank you din sa taga-DA Raffle sa paghatag sa kahigayon sa amon sa bunga-aga na ma-share mo naman ang mga regulations amon sa Bureau of Animal Industry Veterinary Quarantine Services Station 6 and mayong aga man sa tanan natin yung mga tagpalamti sa bunga-aga.
Yes, eksperyan natin sa mga nagawag natin na local shipping permit online sa Bureau of Animal Industry. So, yung pamangkot, ano yung mga sapat o klase sa produkto ang kalakip nga kinahanglan kuhaan sa bagong local shipping permit o na ang ating LSP para sa ating mga guerreros.
Yes, sir. Siguro sa actually the commodities that sir, no covers sa ating issuance ng permit under the Bureau of Animal Industry medyo namo siya. But I think we'll categorize into 4 na lang din para mas hapos matandaan sa itong tagpalamati. So number 1, commodity number 1 will be live animals. If gadala ka sa mga breed, kasapatan, kinahanglan mo magbukas ng permit. Ikaduha, kung gadala ka sa ilang mga products, animal products, such as karne or such as itlog or gatas, kinahanglan mo magbukas ng permit na siya. Also ng mga meat products and meat commodities, kinahanglan mo sa permit. And lastly, of course, animal byproducts. Magkita animal byproducts, ano niya siya ang commodities or products from animals na ginagawa makaon, such as, for example, ilang mga skin, mga hide, o mga leather, ilang mga chicken dang ato, na ginagamit sa abono. So those are the commodities that if you're planning to transport those commodities, kailangan natin kuhaan sa aming permit.
Yes, and our next question, kung ano naman ang primary document o kung requirements, mga basic na mga kinakailangan natin makuha sa LSP.
Okay, sige. May ginatawag ito sir na Administrative Order number 5 series of 2019. Ano na siya sir ang guide naman kung mag-ship kita sa animals. So, una na sa mga live animals natin kung mabiyahe ka sa mga dogs and cats, mga kambing, mga baka, carabao, importante, mayara kita mga veterinary health certificate kung nakuha nila sa licensed veterinarian. Ikaduha, sa mga meat and meat products nito, importante, may ara sila na dala nga Certificate of Product Registration from the Food and Drug Authority, and then may ara sila LTO or License to Operate from the FDA. Sa mga karne ng mga frozen meat na naton, importante may ara sila dala nga meat inspection certificate from the National Meat Inspection Services kung hina ang karne is local source or dili sa mga slaughterhouse na siya ginpangkuha or sa local supermarket. And importante, kung international man niya, halin ang karne, importante may ara sila dala nga certificate of meat inspection from the National Meat Inspection Services. However, sa mga meat naton, same lang na sila, CPR, LTO from the FDA. And then, kapag ang client naton, may dala nga for pasalubong din na less than 10 kilogram na for consumption nila ng mga karne, importante may ara sila dala lang na official receipts o kung diin nila bakal ang cooked meat niya ina.
And you mentioned kanina daw ang online system mo. Ano naman ang ating proseso sa online submission sa mga dokumento sa BAI online system?
Kaya sa una, manual ang issuance natin sa local shipping permit. Si client, nakalito sa office naman, dalon ang iyong mga requirements, issuehan naman sa local shipping permit. Sa subong, nag-una ang ating proseso na ginatawag ng kita nga online local shipping permit issuance system. Sa sino naman paagi, hindi naman kanto si client sa opisina naman, as long as may aral siya requirement, secure, mas hindi man siya, pag may aral siya internet connection, makakuha gid siya, maka-apply gid siya online. So may duha kita ka process, ano na ang account registration, ang una nila nga step. So first step nila, importante may aral lang sila active email address and password. So, mag-login lang sila sa nvqsp.bai.gov.ph. I-fill in lang nila ang mga basic information at i-send. Ang next step sila is ma-send na si BAI for account confirmation. So, i-check ng client ang ila inbox sa ila email or sa spam nila. Dira na ang ma-click ang confirmation hindi padala ni BAI. So once confirmed ng email, username and password, ang third step na is ang application process. So kadto kagihapon sa nvqsb.bai.gov.ph, i-login mo ang imo active email account na gin-register kagina kag ang email password, and then i-fill up natin ang mga basic information naton kag ang mga shipping details naton. After sina, i-attach natin ang mga requirements na ginapangayo sa DAAO 5. And then after sina is isend the dye natin. So from there, mabato na sa system naman at kami sa BAI ang ma-review and ma-approve na dahil sa local shipping permit nila.
And speaking of approved, ano naman ang criteria sa pag-approve of undenied BAI 6 application system?
Kung sa pag-approve sa ating shipping permit, importante, compliant na sila sa DAAO 5 na ginapagayo ang mga requirements. So, pag-comply sila, approve sila. Once na ang mga cases na nagkakadinay ang ila application is, for example, kulang ang ila documents na gin attach. Ikaduha, sila ang na-indicate nila na shipping details, kung sala man ang documents na gin-attach nila, or probably may error sa documents, o di kaya expired ang documents na na-attach. Ano na ang kaso na nagkakadinay ang ila application.
Ano naman daw ang makita, for example, for some instance, kung sa online application.
So, once mabato na sa aming application nila kag-review naman and kita naman na may ara sila sa ila application, automatic na ginatawag na return to sender. Ang application, mabalik kay client, and then may comments na siya halin sa BAI. So, for example, nag-ship ka bisang dog, And then sa documents mo wala mo ma-attach ang veterinary health certificate kag ang vaccination record niya, ma-comment lang dito si bain, please attach your veterinary health certificate or the vaccination record. So kinahanglan si client na-comply na siya. And then i-submit na ng liwat ang i-application para ma-review liwat.
And speaking of time frame, pagkagayon o parang time frame para sa pag-process ng application pagkatapos ma-submit sa online local system, yung online local shipment permit system.
So, may araw kita 2 days na processing para ma-approve ang local shipping permit nila. Ang schedule for review and approval sa permit natin is from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. So, kung gina-apply natin ang ating local shipping permit at 8 a.m., before 5 p.m., may araw natin status ng ating local shipment LSP. So, si client, importante, ma-refresh niya yung portal para ma-check niya from time to time kung anong updates ng iyang local shipping permit. And then, kung may scenario na 5:30 na bis ang hapon na gin-apply ang iyang local shipping permit, ang review sila the next day na at 8 a.m. So, if ever si client na repeated ang iyang errors na pagdamog siya sala during application niya, kami sa Bae Veterinary Quarantine Station ni make sure ginatawagan ng namin ng client para hindi magbalik-balik ang iyang application kung makayo niya ang tanan-tanan ng mga sala. So, from there, hindi nakalabot. Sa 3 days, ma-issuehan din siya sa local shipping permit na.
At sa akin naman, paano sila makuha isang permit number or reference code na bibigyan nila dito sa port nila.
Okay. So, upon application client sa portal natin, ang reference code or ang permit number, automatic na siya na gina-generate ni Bae sa system nila. So, ang anyong permit number, ang mo naman ang maging basihan sa mga veterinary quarantine inspectors natin sa tanan nga airports, seaports, na pag-aagyan sa ila shipment, kadang i-make sure dira na ang basihan kung ang ina nga permit is legit or hindi fake or hindi siya recycled.
And once again, sa ating mga tagpalimatibay sa ating mga personnel from the Bureau of Animal Industry. And sa next natin na question daw, speaking of reference code ng national code and permit number, ano naman ang dapat ihatag sa border control officer sa airport o puerto pag-abot, especially when we are talking about mga papeles, mga reference code, o mga QR code.
Okay? So, for example, client, na-approve na yung local shipping permit na, magkabiyahe na siya. So, sa tanan niya airports that supports na atin niya, kinangan i-present niya ang printed na local shipping permit na issued by Bae, and then ang mga attached documents. So, ang kinangan na kapag veterinary health certificate, kinangan original kit na siya. Ang mga meat inspection certificate, certificate of meat inspection, kinangan original na. Ang mga handler's license, ang mga livestock handler's license, transport carrier, pwede o ang other documents, pwede kahit photocopy nilang.
And meron daw kaya para sa pagkuha sa mga permit online at paano yung kaya.
Okay. So, ang nakatandaan natin, ang Bae local shipping permit is free na siya, wala na siya bayad. Okay.
Paano naman nasunod ang mga security protocols, the data privacy sa pag-upload sa makabig natin mga sensitive ng mga information?
Okay. So when it comes to mga data na gina-upload natin online, Bae make sure na secure ang ating data. So una sa tanan, ang ating account, pero ang ating username, naka-embed na siya sa may system ni Bae. And then, so Bae, wala na siya gagamit sa mga open source na Microsoft. And then, ikaduha, may ara na siya, nakasubscribe na siya sa SSL to make sure na ang website is safe, hindi siya na-hack, hindi siya masublan sa mga virus. And then at the same time, may ara na sila ang ating mga Bae IT personnel, naka-sign na sila sa non-disclosure agreement na hindi nila pwede i-leak ang information and maging liable sila once ang amin ng information is magagawa. And then, Bae also invest millions of pesos para maprotektahan ng firewalls ang ating website. So, rest assured na ang ating shipper, ang ating data is protected by Bae.
Yes, and ano naman daw ang mga protocol kung may mga preventive quarantine, inspection, o sampling sa sapat at produkto ng internet.
Okay.
So, usually, sir, no, before transport sa permit, we have, of course, the requirement that was mentioned in the Pearl. Dara pa lang makita ta kung ayan sila, compliant sila sa ating DAO number 5, no? Series of 2000, the instrumental na issuances. So, kung okay sila nila, after that, mag-ship na sila, malabay na sa mga airports and seaports. So, paglabay nila dira, dapat ang mga documents nila, pakita nila para mapapili check sa ating mga veterinary quarantine officers and inspectors. So, the process nila, they will be checking not only for the documents, kung okay ang documents, but they will also be checking for the commodities. Kung commodities na is, I had okay, for some form natin, kung sound siya kung fit for human consumption, kung animals natin is healthy. And ayan, kung ang documents na, kada akong shipment na, ang live animals or akong commodities na abi, consistent ang details. Kay although kisa pareho ang okay ang shipment, okay ang documents, kisa magkaiba. So those are the things that we are checking to make sure na compliant at mga shippers and tapos safe man and healthy and receive ng commodities from the origin to sa destination.
Paano naman daw mo coordinate sa bayan yung conditions ng customs, mission of customs, mga port authorities, airport communication?
Alright. Actually, sana so depende actually sir sa ano no sa concern natin if the concern natin is domestic or international. So it depends on which entity are we going to coordinate. But of course, no, ating coordination with them are actually regular na siya. We have orientation, we have reorientation, we actually update them regularly kung meron ang mga bago na update sa ating regulation ta. Also, as I said earlier, kung depende sa concern kung ayan international siya or domestic. Normally if kag-convince na ito agi. For example, kung bago sila sa airport, we'll be coordinating with, of course, the PNP MCU or PNP natin sa airport and also the Civil Aviation Authority of the Philippines. Kung ano naman, kung malabay sila sa seaport, makakoordinate kita with either the private port or the PPA, Philippine Ports Authority, and of course, the Coast Guard as well, and akong na PNP sa mga port as well. On top of that, if domestic ang concern, on top of those mentioned ng mga agencies, usually we contact with LGU. However, kung international naman siya, we coordinate as well with the CIQ, what we call CIQ, or the Customs, Immigration, and Quarantine na group. Kasi those are our partners kung international naman.
And ano naman ang proseso when we are talking sa renewal o ang pag-expense ng online permit kung kulang pa ang valid.
Okay. Ang local shipping permit natin is valid for 7 days. So, hindi na siya pwede cycle or magamit ng liwat. So, for example, in 1 day, mabiyahe ako kadto Guimaras, makuha ako local shipping permit ang Iloilo to Guimaras. Kapag kahapon, kung from Guimaras ako, mabalik ako Iloilo, kinahanglan, magawad ako liwat sa shipping permit from Guimaras to Iloilo. Ang mga requirements na gina-attach nila is kinahanglan mag-uman. Hindi man pwede ma-recycle ang mga documents na gina-attach nila. So, kuha naman sila sa mga requirements.
And talking about penalty to fines, kakaliman ng mga penalty o fines kung, for example, magsala sa protocols pareho sa late submission o kulang ng dokumento.
Okay. So, for example, sila sa seaport or airports and upon apprehension or inspection sa mga veterinary quarantine inspector natin, and nakita ang isa ka scenario is kulang ang inyong mga documents na nadala. So, paghahatagan ka within 24 hours para masettle ina mga minor violation na makahatag kami consideration. Pero however, pag ang inyong case is mga fake documents, gin-recycle ng documents, gin-tamper mo ang documents, automatic na siya return to origin. So, return sa ginalingan niya ang among nagiging sanction dira. O, ang ina nga return to origin, ikaw na mabayad sa shippers sang gastos na pagpabalik na sang animals. Pero, kung hindi ka magsubot, hindi ka magbayad, di automatic ka mga veterinary quarantine officer i-confiscate na naman kag i-dispose ang animals or products na na-apprehend naman. So, from there, mga serious violation, like for example, upon inspection naman, nakita naman yung may sakit ang animals, although may mga documents siya, automatic confiscation na siya, card disposal. Kahit kung may sakit ng sapat, hindi naman pwede i-release, kaya man ang magiging source of maglak na ang sakit. And at the same time, kung ang mga kanya, kapag inspection natin, medyo magbing na or medyo may molds na or hindi na, nagbakot na, automatic confiscation and disposal ang among nagiging sanction nila. So kung ikaw, nakakommit ka sa various serious violation, ang among sanction na pwede na siya nang mag-blacklist ikaw, hatagan ka ng sa show cause order, and then pag na-prove na guilty ka, pwede ka mag-blacklist na ni BAE. So yung blacklisting, hindi ka na allowed to ship or to transact on any transactions of your industry. So, ano na siya?
Yes, once again sa ating mga listeners, online sa ating viewers sa Facebook natin, they have an ating bisita subo of the Bureau of Animal Industry, si Dr. Richard Ruel, si S. Rank, Veterinary Quality Officer sa Veterinary Quality Station 6, in Western Visayas. Subuhan si Dr. Pearl Choi Drama, Veterinary Quality Officer, Veterinary Quality Station 6. Alasin na lang mga Dr. ano siya kung mas advisory lang sa atin ng mga dental.
Once again, thank you so much for this opportunity, and we have Dr. Nilo Pingaya. We would like to thank DA Raffis, and of course Sir James, and also our Red, Sir Dennis Arpia, for having this opportunity to, of course, once again broadcast and update everyone sa regulation naman as far as live animals and animal products is concerned. So, maraming salamat for this opportunity, and hope we will be aware and also will be able to be compliant lang sa regulation to avoid those violations mentioned earlier by Dr.
Okay, sige. Okay, thank you sa tanya pagpalamati sa bunga aga. Kung may araw pa kamo dugang pamangkutanon, open din ang amon niya Facebook account. Pwede nyo siya i-follow pag i-like. Veterinary Quality Services Western Visayas. So, may messenger dira, pwede nyo mag-PM ang inyong mga questions.
Once again, sa ating kalamatitig sa ating tanan na nag-aamdi sa sektor sa agrikultura, maraming salamat sa sunod na episode. Panibag naman ang ating bisita. Pag-ito-open natin ang pinaka mga personnel sa National League Inspection Service. Bantayan natin sa ating sunod na episode sa ating programa. Sa luwado si John Candelario from the Regional Agriculture and Fisheries Information Section sa Department of Agriculture, Western Visayas. Maayong aga sa ating.
It is common among families, especially in the countryside, to own several hectares of land. Mostly were inherited from the older generation and passed to the later generations. However, as time passes by, only a few of the current generation would have an interest on the vast land they have inherited. When in the early years, the older people are into acquiring vast areas of land, the younger people today would rather work in a rented space to earn a living. This is the case of husband and wife Jose Ray Dupon, a seaman by profession, and attorney Annalyn Arboleda Dupon, a former Capiz General and the founder of the Tree Huggers Movement Incorporated, who owned a few hectares of land but would eventually buy the portions owned by their immediate families. They were able to acquire a total of 20 hectares of land. The problem, however, most of these lands used to be sugarcane and corn plantations. These are lands with no existing trees and other vegetation, as required by the prior crops. Seeing the sorry state of the land, they decided to start planting it with fruit trees, and with the help of a friend who offered them seedlings of cacao trees under a pay-later scheme, they made the first step of what is now a plantation of more than 3,500 fruit-bearing cacao trees, covering at least 4 hectares of land, and the planting continues today. They have also started planting other fruit-bearing trees. As Jose would say, they planted the cacao trees without any prior knowledge on how to take care of the crop and how to manage it. During the pandemic, Jose decided to stay for good and get serious with blooming and cacao planting. He attended several trainings about cacao management and value-adding products. This gave birth to the Dariagan Alboleda and Bipon, or Dad's Farm in Barangay Urgia, Maayon, Capiz. He encouraged his immediate families, who also own lands, to plant cacao trees, and the farm workers in the farm are his relatives, giving them the opportunity to earn income without staying away from their families. It was not a smooth sailing experience, however. They were learning along the process of planting the trees up to its fruit-bearing trees. Typhoon Agaton back in April 2022 battered most of his cacao trees, which made Jose frustrated. It was in one of the trainings sponsored by the Department of Agriculture Western Visayas. Jose's passion reignited after one of the speakers told him to consider his losses as an investment. While they had started producing tablea back in 2015, Jose and Emeline decided to start producing chocolates in 2022 after he retired working overseas. Today, Ogia, the chocolate brand, which got its name from their barangay, is seeing supply around Capiz and Iloilo. They have also brought their chocolates to Manila, especially during exhibits.
Siyempre, gid lang ang nagtulod sa akin na magbunti untat sa pag-OFW pagkasiman tungod sa pandemic. Doon nahadlok man ko nga at the time na grabe gid ang infection sa all over the world. Nag-decide na lang gid ko nga mabuntat kay tuod nakita ko naga-fruit na ang among mga gintanom nga kakao ang matamat na dadamo. Dito na ko nag-umpisa dayon nga ibalik namon ang tradisyon sang pagbubra sang tableya. At the same time, dito na ko naga-research upod sa mga taga-DA to add value sa kakao. So dito na umpisa na ang paglantaw ko sa fine chocolates na bean to bar. Sa umpisa, ang bulig na una ginhatag sa akon sa DA is encouragement. Tungod nga nakaumpisa na kami, gindugangan na nila ang among mga knowledge sa pagtanong, sa pag-propagate pagid, kag ang isa pagid is may mga interventions na sila like mga seminars. Dito ko na-appreciate ko gid ang mga seminars kay kadamo-damo gid ko natunan. Aside from that nga hindi gid ko nagdako sa uma, city boy ako ya. So wala gid na idea. Ang DA lang gid ang nakahatag sa akon sang basic knowledge. Kada dito man nag-umpisa ang akong love sa pagpanguma, no? Hindi lang nga mambalaton nga doon napilitan lang, kundi nga nagustuhan ko gid kag nahiligan ko na ang pagpanguma. Tag ang DA, madamo na sila sa aming pangatag sa ako ng mga sa amon nga pag harvest ining mga tree namon, ang mga water impoundment namon ining mga drums, ang rotavators, greenhouse, technical support, ining may mga ginahatag sila ng mga abunuan.
On the other hand, their production averages 1,000 bars a month. They are now producing 70% dark chocolate, milk chocolate, dark chocolate, dark chocolate with nuts, milk chocolate with nuts, white chocolate with cacao nibs, and keto sugar-free chocolate. In the recently concluded Cacao Congress in Cebu City, Dad's Farm Chocolate placed third in the Philippine first flavored tableya making category out of 25 MSMEs in Waterfront Hotel Cebu last July 29, 2024. He infused red mullet or oven-cooked salmonete and nipa syrup in his tableya entry, proving that the chocolates produced in Capiz are now at par with the quality of other established producers across the country. Through the High Value Crops Development Program, or HBCPD, of the Department of Agriculture Western Visayas, Dad's Farm received additional farm support and implements. HBCPD provided them a rotavator, greenhouse, solar plastic, and drums for water storage. These, along with several training programs on cacao production and value adding, are in place as part of the continuing support of DA Western Visayas to the cacao farmers. The region produces around tons of cacao seeds every year. Its growth has helped propel the agricultural sector as one of the main economic drivers in Western Visayas. This is your Department of Agriculture, Western Visayas.
Check your surroundings. I-check kung may mga naipong tubig sa mga paso o gulong o iba pang
In 2015, Western Visayas has a total of 5,866,854 coffee-bearing trees. Based on the Philippine Statistics Data PSA, there are 276,000 coffee farms in the country with almost 79.4 million trees. The different varieties include Robusta, Arabica, Excelsia, and Liberica. Today, the Department of Agriculture Western Visayas is pushing the limit of the coffee industry in the region under its High Value Crops Development Program. One of the beneficiaries is the Bulalakaw Kaluoy Tula Sikap Organization, or BCSTO in Siralong Town, Antique. The organization was established in 2001 with at least 275 member farmers to date. The local coffee farmers have started producing fine-grade Robusta for the local market. The BCSTO, with the help of DA Western Visayas, has started the empowerment of the coffee farmers in order to improve the production and encourage a communal processing and marketing of the produce, which include palay, peanuts, ginger, turmeric, and primarily coffee. The group has now evolved into a much bigger organization with members coming from nearby barangays like Bulalakaw, Tola-Tola, and Kaluoy. In order to sustain a better production, DA Western Visayas has provided its members with minimum chainsaws for pruning, depulpers, and other tools like solar dryers and UV-treated films for drying of coffee seeds. Trainings in several stages of coffee farming and processing were initiated in order to provide the farmers with needed knowledge.
Ang buhagang gabi sunod sa upang kapuntaan ka na susunod Sinisipin ka lang. Kaya na pagpapalaga namin ang ilutos na pang-cloning, kapuntos na pang-television, solar dryer, kapatos sa mga may tutulong ni Kapisato, sa kanya na kami wala bigyan ang piso kumain na sobrang po sa sunod ng piso sa kanya tulad sa tulokan ni sa Pilipinas na
The coffee products of Sipagan has reached Iloilo and other provinces with the help of DA6 as market linkages are instituted in order to provide a sense of sustainability and security among the farmers. The rise of coffee shops and cafes around the region has provided greater opportunities for the coffee farmers. The story of Bunanakaw Kaluoy Tula-Tula Sikap Organization is a dynamic example of the people and the government working together to achieve a common end. That is the improvement of their economic conditions, such as the major thrust of the Department of Agriculture Western Visayas. We serve what the farmers deserve.
Para mahaba ka yan, meron kang rektang puntamiya,
Sprang from a dream to restore the livelihood gravely hit by Super Typhoon Yolanda in 2013, Tabok Fisherfolks Association, or TAFA, came about equally carrying a burning commitment to work up their way to recovery. TAFA, in its budding year, started with 112 members upon establishment in August 2013. And almost a decade after putting up the People's Organization to bring relief among the residents of Tabok, Libertad, and Ique, this has grown to 130 members with 72 males and 58 females who have been walking hand in hand to improve their lives after braving catastrophe. As they tread their path of reviving fishing operations, the Philippine Rural Development Project of the Department of Agriculture, through the recommendation of the Provincial Local Government Unit, directed their rather headstrong aspirations into reality, approving them a 999,950 peso Lambaklad livelihood project, which was reinforced by the Regional Project Coordination Offices under IREP component.
Ang project po namin ay tinatawag na Lambaklad Livelihood Project. Ito po ay isang uri ng panghuli po ng isda na ginagamitan po ng nets and ropes. So ito po ay naka-assemble sa ilalim po ng dagat at ito po ay may mga sandbags na pumipigil po sa nets para hindi po siya umakyat. Ito pong Lambaklad Livelihood Project po ay talagang environment-friendly gear po siya kasi ito po ay hindi nakaka-apekto sa kapaligiran.
The system of fishing operates with one master fisherman or maestro, 3 rondas or watchers, and 20 busos or net pullers. The master fisherman would first assemble the busos upon signal of rondas through waving a flag queuing for another haul from the nets. Upon collection of the catch, the busos are then looking into their nets for damages and fixing them at once before they would hurl the nets for another pull-in, done 2 to 3 times per day. On the pursuit of reviving their daily source of income, the association observes a number of best practices, upholding their unifying goal to increase the income of the members by at least 59% annually, from 30,000 pesos to 47,834.11 centavos. Provide employment to at least 30 persons in the locality, and increase membership by 5% annually. On top of their initiatives are best practices. TAFA incorporated a weather monitoring mobile application, Windy,
which helps them keep the weather in check for conditions that would possibly affect their operations, owing to the core of their association of restoring the livelihood devastated by typhoon. Members, particularly the fishermen crew, were trained and educated to make use of the technology at their advantage. It is being regularly monitored and cross-checked for accuracy and efficiency. Further, among the maintenance practices likewise observed were the monthly nets off, or the suspension of fishing operations, intended for net cleaning upon accumulation of moss, which lasts for a week, and a total nets off lasting for a month.
Ang lambaklad po ay nagsisimula po siya ng January to May. And then may total nets off po kami na tinatawag pag June to September. Kasi yung time po ng total nets off is habagat po siya dito sa place namin. So magre-resume po yung aming operation September up to May ulit. Tuwing total nets off po, bali ang ginagawa po ng aming mga members ay ang kumpunin po yung aming mga nets, lilinisan po siya, tatanggalin po yung mga lumot, at i-repair po yung mga balsa, yung aming mga pamboat kung may sira po, para po maka-prepare din po para sa operation po namin sa susunod po na mga buwan. So, sa time po na total nets off, meron din po kami capability building, mga trainings na kinakandak po namin para tuloy-tuloy po yung aming kaalaman. Kung kahit wala kami po operation, tuloy-tuloy po yung aming kaalaman para po sa pagpapatakbo po ng aming project.
Now clocking to its 10th cycle of operation, the Lambaklad Livelihood Project has shown continued increase in sales since 2018, having 6,718.61 kilograms of fish catch, which translates to 506,084 pesos recorded sales in its first year, and 8,952.70 kilograms of fish catch, translating to 995,221 pesos in 2019, and 9,971.85 kilograms of fish catch, which translates to 1,138,652 pesos in 2020, and 11,485.45 kilograms of fish catch, translating to 1,579,948 pesos in 2021, and 33,340.30 kilograms of fish catch, which translates to 4,380,256 pesos in 2022, respectively. Being an established organization, the profit-sharing scheme is being employed with the association, firstly compensating the rondas on duty for the day with 10% from the gross sales, whereas a weekly 30% are utilized for the fishermen crew and the remaining 60% for the association share. With TAFA's civil society organization accreditation, various grants from the regular programs of the Department of Agriculture came their way and have been an additional income-generating activity among its members. Few of these are trading capital assistance amounting to 332,100 pesos under the DA Ahmad 6, various support to enterprises, supplementing the trading capital for fish buying and selling activity of TAFA last November 5, 2021.
Kung total nets off po, wala po kaming lambaklad operation, so wala po kaming income. Meron naman po kaming alternate sa isa naming project na tinatawag po na Talipapa. Ang Talipapa po ay binigay din po sa amin ng regular fund ng DA na ginamit po namin para sa pagbili po ng mga isda, gulay, manok, mga karne sa mga local farmers po namin dito sa aming barangay. Yung purpose po talaga niyan is para makatulong din po sa aming mga local farmers na mabili po ang kanilang mga produkto. Nakakatulong din po yung aming Talipapa project para po sa community po namin kasi medyo malayo po kasi yung place ng bayan po namin na pumunta pa sila doon para bumili po ng kanilang mga kailangan sa kanilang mga bahay. Dahil meron na po kaming talipapa, usually dito po talaga bumibili, lalo na po yung mga members po namin. Tanatangkilik po talaga at ng mga kalapit po namin ng mga barangay.
This is coupled with the enhanced Kadiwa ni Ani at Kita financial grant assistance under Type B category or logistical support, amounting to 1 million pesos for the procurement of their own delivery truck to address the challenges in delivering their product to the market due to frequent lockdowns during pandemic. And in 2023, another enhanced Kadiwa grant amounting to 1,500,000 pesos for the procurement of equipment, materials, and labor for the expansion and operations of Lambaclad Enterprise is underway. For the expected expansion of the enterprise, it aims to employ another 20 fishermen and would open employment among the residents of Libertad Antique. Notably, as the association eyes for sustainable livelihood, they allocated 40% of their income as contingency fund, as maintenance of their fishing equipment, and as allocation for the planned expansion of the livelihood project.
Para po sa aming contingency plan, meron po kaming nakalaan po na 40% mula po sa aming gross sales. Ito po ay tinatabi po talaga namin para po may magamit po kami sa maintenance po ng aming Lambaclad project. So ito rin po ay gagamitin po namin kung sakaling magkakaroon na po kami ng time na po kami ng expansion para sa isa pong unit ng aming Lambaclad.
Born from a steadfast desire to recover from the damages brought by Super Typhoon Yolanda, the Lambaclad Livelihood Project has stood on its feet and has been serving hope with the fisher folks of Libertad Antique with the help of the Philippine Rural Development Project, Regional Project Coordination Office 6, DA Ahmed 6, and the Provincial and Municipal Local Government of Antique.
Hatid ay balita, impormasyon at sari-saring kaalam tungkol sa sektor ng agrikultura sa ating bayan. Usapang Agrikultura kasama ang Department of Agriculture. Alamin ang mga hakbang ng administrasyon para mas mapaunlad pa ang iba't ibang industriya agrikultural at pakinggan ang mga proyektong handog sa mamamayan upang mapalago ang kanilang mga kabuhayan. Usapang Agrikultura, Lunes hanggang Biyernes, alas 5 ng umaga, dito lang sa Radyo Pilipinas.